if we went out in the mud hole and we picked up some clay out of the mud hole, and we'd want to pick the rock out of it, we'd throw the stick and maybe the hay that was in it, we'd try to get all that cleaned out, and that's the way we need to look at it. We need to say, hey God, let's get rid of some of these rocks. Let's get rid of some of this hay. Let's get rid of some of these sticks. Do away with all that stuff. And, when I talked about that, which that first message sticks in my mind, and I don't know why, but, taking that step in faith, and I ask you that question, are you ready to take that next step in faith? Our faith, I feel like in myself, I have great faith. I have faith in God. I have faith that He can heal things. I was thinking about that today as we was at the nursing home. If I was sitting there thinking, I thought about Jesus when He was walking the earth, and He would come into a situation like where we was at and heal people like that. I think about the man laying at the side of the pool, and he had all his faith crawling over to get into that water, and he thought, if I could just get to that water at that point in time when that fountain shoots up, I'll be healed. But he had faith. He just had to find and take that extra step of faith. And that's when Jesus Christ came along. And that's finding Jesus Christ. Taking that next step. Probably every one of us here tonight have already took that step in faith. We've accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. I don't feel like tonight, and I'm preaching to anybody in here that doesn't know who Jesus is, doesn't talk to Jesus, isn't his best friend. But when we look at that, there's always growth. I believe if we're on this earth, there's something we can grow in. Now, I think back and look on where I started from preaching till now, just judging myself, and there's been a lot of growth.
Yeah.
In that. Thank God for that.
Yes.
I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I knew I was following God.
Yeah.
And I knew when I come that Sunday morning, and I can remember, and I went up to the front of the church at Swiss, and I told Gene, I said, I want to come back here and tell you something real quick, because I'm going to tell the church here in a little bit, so I want you to know, not be surprised. Because when I went, Sarah was on one. And I went back there and I told Gene, I said, I want to tell I've been called to preach. I said, I believe we talked for 5 or 10 minutes. He asked me some questions and things. I said, yeah. I said, that was like a jumping off a cliff, step in faith to me. It was. And it was like, man, I'm down here. But I had to start somewhere. So I started down there, and the vessel started. I picture in my mind that God took a piece of clay and He said, I'm done with this, and put her back on the wheel, and He said, let's start. That, and not to say that he did that, he had already started making it. But, as I picture that in my mind, and as God's fed me these messages, that's where I've been. Like when I took that great big step in faith, He just said, all right, I got him here now. Let's start over this. Power all back up on the wheel. I'll start spinning the wheel, and I'll start shaping this into something that I can use. So that is something, these messages are what I've been trying to get to. We got to get out of the way and let God do it. Do I still get in the way? Yes. I still get in the way from time to time. But as we went through that last message, I did say it one time. I said, tried by the fire. Because the potter's got his clay there, he shapes him, he does all this, and he's got to get to the point where he goes to the fire. He's got to dry this thing. He's got to put it in the kiln. He's got to finish his work. And that took me over to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. I'm going to start reading in verse 13. I think I've preached this message before in a way, not this same way, not the way God gave it to me today.
November of 21.
November 21, okay. I used this Bible.
October of 22, that's what I
Oh, October, okay.
thought. I got that too.
Well, I remembered it, but that's where God took us to tonight.
Keeping tabs on.
Well, we can use the same verses and bring out a whole different point.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go ahead and read the Word tonight, if you will. If you're able to stand for the reading of God's Word, we'll start in verse 13. And it says, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss. But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. Let no man deceiveth himself. If any man among you seem to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, for it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore let no man glory in men, for all things are yours. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, as we approach your throne of grace again tonight, dear Lord, I just thank you for the ones that's made their way out tonight. Dear Lord, I just pray that you pour your Spirit out on them, dear Lord. Give them a great blessing tonight, dear Lord. You know, as we thank you for the opportunity to be able to go to the nursing home, dear Lord. You know, it just filled my soul up to be there and to be able to see those people and see the excitement on their faces. You know, finally somebody is here and they're singing about God and they're talking about God and they're telling us about God, you know, and I thank you for the excitement, the light that you've seen shine down there, dear Lord. You know, that the opportunity to be able to see that and to hear the things that's said, dear Lord. I just pray that you be with us tonight as we go through this service here tonight. I just pray that the ones that's not here, that you just take care of them, pick them up, comfort them, dear Lord. You know, we've got a lot of sickness and things going on. I just pray that you can help each one of these families, get them through these situations. Whatever the case may be, dear Lord, you know that you're the ultimate healer, dear Lord, and that you're able to take care of those things tonight, you know. But as we look at this message about being in a fire, dear Lord, I just pray that, you know, that you can take us through these fiery situations of life that is there, and that you can let us see the brightness that's on the other end and how much it's going to help us when we get to the other end, dear Lord. I just pray most of all that you move me out of the way and use me as your mouthpiece tonight, dear Lord. Don't let people look and see Adam, but let them see Jesus tonight, dear Lord. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. You know, as I got into this message and I got to thinking about it, and we're not going to talk much about these verses. You know, it's just it's a place that I came to get the word of what I wanted to get, and it was tried by fire. You know, we're still talking about the potter and where he goes and he takes that and he has to try it by the fire after he gets done. So he's got there and he's working on it, you know, but I think about God, he's going to work on me till the day I go to meet him. Because I love the song has been going through my head ever since that. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. You know, you think about that and you think, man, that's just a little kid song. It's the same thing as this morning. We're not going to teach the Old Testament to a new baby in Christ. We're going to tell them John 3:16. We're going to go to Romans 10 and tell them about how Jesus can save anybody and how easy it is and how salvation is free. You know, when we think about that, we can think about these things right here. It's those songs that we learned when we were kids. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. You know, I look back on that a couple of years ago when I started preaching, and I look down and I think, man, he is working. You know, he is doing something. He's building this church. He's still working on this church. You know, you can look at this church as a person. He's still working on me. We are all one big person. This church right here, we make up the body. The building is nothing. But we should have, I believe we should have a desire to make it look the best that we can make it look. You know, it's God's house. We want it to be inviting. I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to feel the love. You know, when they come in there. But now we've got to the point in now, all these messages we've got to. And you remember the first message I told you I could have Timmy pick me up here at 4 o'clock in the morning. If I would have preached everything that I've told you that night, we would have probably had done that at 3 o'clock in the morning, because God just poured it on me, and He said, this is everything. Right here, look at the whole picture throughout the whole time of what goes on. We got to get there. We got to take the step of faith. We got to let God maybe reform some parts of our lives. We got to get rid of the rocks. We got to get rid of the straw. You know, what can I do for you, God? Where am I at with you? What do you think? Well, I'm only 12 years old. Maybe one of these boys sitting over here. Maybe I'm only 8. Maybe I'm 80. I can't do that. I can't do this. I could say the same thing being 37. I can't do that. I can't do this. It's like this morning. Great Sunday school lesson this morning. And I had, you know, God put it on my heart. He's like, hey, Ronnie, play that song back here. We was talking about it, excuses. And they're so easy. How many of us had an excuse tonight? We thought of something, right? I could stay home from here. But you know what? I want to come to the kiln a little bit. I want to be set on the fire. You know, and sometimes it's hard when maybe I get the message and I'm the one starting the fire. You know? And somebody else, you're getting in the kiln. But you know, the same effect, I may preach the message, and the message totally be for me, and I'm the one getting in the kiln. I'm getting there and getting dried out. But verse 13 says, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. The fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. You know, and that verse right there is talking about what we do in this life, and what we're going to go through, and how we try to affect everything in our lives. We tell everyone about Jesus Christ that we can come in contact with. You know, and that's great. Let's keep that. But what's the next step? Where do we need to go from there? You know, I love hearing Betty's story about Lynn inviting her to church. You know, when I think about that. Most of us would think, we ain't going to invite her no more. I've done asked her 4 times, so I ain't going to do that no more. Well, maybe it takes 5. What is that next step? And we get to this point, we've went through this and we've made this perfect vessel. And we've got it. And we're ready for the next step. What happens if I don't take the next step? What happens if I don't put it in the kingdom? What is going to happen? I need to go to that next step. You know, and as I got to thinking about this, and I heard another man preach this message one time, and God brought this thought back to my mind. And he said, you know, a potter will sometimes, they'll make 10 or 15 pieces all at the same time. And they'll put those 10 or 15 pieces in the kiln. And if one of those pieces is bad, it could erupt. So you put 10 or 15 in there, but one piece erupts and messes up the other 10 or 15. So what do we need to do? We need to go and help that one when we see that problem. When we see that they need help and those things is there, hey, before we put them in the fire, let's help them. When somebody comes and they accept Jesus Christ and we know they're new, we know they're babes in Christ, we need to help them. Because what are they going to get tried Monday morning when they get back to work? Or get through in the fire because the devil done knows, hey, I knew I should have made a better excuse than that. I shouldn't let them get to church on that Sunday morning. I'm going to put the fire on them Monday morning. Or getting tried with the fire. Check on those people. Look at those people. Help those people. If you got a connection with somebody, that's the place to be. That's who they're looking to get the help from. And we get tried by the fire. Could we get too dried out? We think about God when He come down. I talked about it in the message, and He come down and He got that water. Oh, but He got the living water. When he put that clay in there and we accepted Jesus Christ, that's when He come down and He said, you know, Adam's going to be a preacher, and He squashed it out and he got him a little bottle of that living water and He put on that clay and He got it ready. Now I'm going to start forming. You know, I haven't totally made it to the kiln yet, and I ain't ready to go to the kiln yet because I look at that part as I'm with Jesus Christ, you know. I'm there, and I know that He still has work for me to do here. And I have to look at that. And as we've looked at these 3 messages and we've got to here, I think it's really a growth that we need to pick up. We need to build Mount Olive off of. Maybe sometimes we're getting a little relaxed. Maybe we're sitting there and we're thinking, well, we had 26 this morning. That's pretty good plus out of 4. Maybe we're taking a setback. We're like, I ain't going. That's good enough. Yeah, I love what Ray and Karen told me. They said, well, we try to invite somebody every day. We try to tell somebody about it. Yeah, we should all tell somebody about it. Yeah, it may be a long time before you see that. You know, I think about which I seen today, but I think about Mateo when he got up and he stood up and he testified and said, you know, that he was talking about me and telling him about church and where I was a pastor, you know. I did invite him to church and stuff. I told him to come to church. They was welcome here. Maybe I shouldn't have in the situation I was in, but I done made my mind up. If I got fired for that, that was fine. I was going to do it. You know, but it took a little bit of time. It wasn't the next Sunday. It wasn't the next month. It was a few months past. You know, that word still stuck. Those things that we said still stuck. Those things that we do still stuck. Yeah, I see, and I got to work with a different person all last week because you know there was just a handful of people there. You know, and I can see that because he made sure that he almost lived a different life with me. You know, just in a way of, it was respect. It was. You know, and I think a lot about that man now because of that. You know, I seen that and I thought, man, you know, that's wonderful. You know, but everything starts out, and I am going to fall back in this chapter just a little bit tonight over in back just the end of verse 11. Chapter 3, verse 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Jesus Christ. We'll have to find that foundation. I don't care whether you're, I said it this morning, Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Catholic, whatever. Whatever's going on, if we find that foundation, and we start right there, we get on that foundation, we find no God, and we step up there, and we say, hey, I'm ready for the potter's wheel, God. Put me on there for me. I want a little bit of that living water. I want to get rid of these stones. I want to get rid of this hay. I want you to start picking these bad things out. Do we get rid of every stone and every piece of hay the first time we get to it? No. We're not. We're going to get to the point of where, hey, you know what? If that stone is left in there and I get tried by the fire, what's going to happen? The rest could be destroyed. You think about somebody that's in a situation, just say, I'm going to use myself as an example. You think about it, I'm the clay, I'm getting worked on. God keeps telling me, get rid of this in your heart, get rid of this in your heart, get rid of this in your heart. You get to the situation where I'm putting fire. I erupt, and the whole flock lives out of that. Something happens to the pastor at the church, and I break, I explode, and I affect all the pieces that's around. It doesn't have to be me, because I'm nothing special. God called me to preach and share His word. I take it and I do it. But each one of us is in the house together. Each piece of pottery is there. If one of us happens, it affects all of us. We've seen it. Somebody gets sick, we get worried about them, it affects our whole church. We talk about the love. We have that love here. We've heard it too many times. People's talked about it too many times. We have that here. And when somebody hurts, it hurts us. But if something happens, and we don't get rid of that, you know, sometimes God's telling us, get rid of that stone. Get rid of it. Let me pull that. I don't want to hold on to it. I got this, God. I don't need you to take care of this. I got this. It's little enough I think I can handle. Well, is it? Maybe it ain't. Maybe you do need to leave it to God. Take it to the altar. You hear people talk about it. I'm going to bring it up here and lay it down. I'm going to give it to God. Do that. But most of the time, we pick it right back up. And we're struggling to get back to the seat with us again. And he's saying, get rid of this. Get rid of this. Because we're going to get to the point of where we're in the fire. And it's going to explode. We've held it up and you think about it. You've probably been in a place in your life before. I know I have. And I keep something bottled up. I don't talk about it. I don't share. I just keep it bottled up. It's happened at work a bunch of times. But I just keep it bottled up. And finally, man, one night it just, it's gone. You let her go. You know, it's all over with. That's what the message I'm talking about tonight. Is those situations, something that you can recall and think about that's happened in your life that you picked up. It's just like those things. We pick them up and we carry them and we just let them keep building and getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. You know? If I had something on me or something, I can get took care of. Say you had something on your hand, you just get that thing cut off and it's all over with. Or I can just keep letting it grow and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Sooner or later I lose the use of my hand. Yeah? God made a way for me to get rid of that. I just don't want that. It's going to be stubborn. That'll be all right. That'll be all right. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. He's made a way. He's made a way for us to get to heaven. That's accept Jesus Christ. We need to tell the world about it. You know, and I told you tonight, everybody in here is saved, but I don't know if everybody's saved that's listening on YouTube or may listen to this. We have to remember that. This is going to get shared. It might be listened in China in 30 minutes. I don't know. Jesus Christ is the way. He's the one that made the way. He put the message on us this morning to talk about what He done on the cross for us. And we done that in remembrance of Him this morning. His body was beaten. His blood was shed.
He's our foundation.
He is our foundation. That's where it was all started. Right there. I said it before. In the Old Testament, they was looking at the cross waiting on it. And we're turning around looking back at it. Because that's where it all happened. You know, they might have missed it when they come through. I can't help but thank God almost in a way that they did miss it. They made a way for us to get there. You know? Jesus went through all that for us. And He laid that great foundation for us to get to. They talk about right here when they talk about getting tried by the fire. And if you read the next verse, it talks about the foundation of gold. And when they went through that, and if you've ever researched and thought about putting gold in the fire, it burns out the impurities of the gold. When they do that, and it gets rid of all the bad stuff. You know? And we think about that. We get put through the fire sometimes. Rough way to go sometimes. I think about my family and how many of them have been told in the last just few months that they have cancer. They're in the fire. They have to find something to lean on. They have to find a good foundation. You know? And it should worry them even more that what if death does come? We think about it. We pray about it. God, heal this, do this. The most important thing is saved. It's like Lynn said tonight. When we get saved, eternal life starts right there. I'm never going to die. I'm going to leave this world. But I'm going to go live with Jesus. From now on. Forever. The song we sang that said, after we're there a million years, and you think, a million years? Yeah. We're going to be there a million years. Forever and ever and ever. And that million years is probably going to seem like a day to us. I mean, it's just going to be like, man, it's great. You think about everything that we could do and we could live in our lives and what we could see and what happens. what goes on. Getting tried by the fire. That's the place we need to be. Be ready to be tried by the fire. I'm talking just the church tonight. We've made it. We've got on the potter's wheel. Do we got a rock and a piece of hay we need to get rid of? Probably. Do we need to get a little extra water? Probably. We're already getting dried out on the wheel. There's going to be points and times in our lives that we're going through, and maybe we just pass by the kiln in the front of it. It's a little bit of heat. Sometimes we got to pass through and go all the way through, feel the heat. And sometimes we might have to jump in and say, that one ain't real. Let me get it back. Hold on a minute. You're going to mess up and tear up the whole situation we got going on here. Those are the hard ones to get a hold of, right? Those are the ones that we usually have to say, hold on a minute. You're messing up. You got a problem. It's hard sometimes to tell somebody that. You got to go up and tell somebody that's thinking me again. Maybe I go up and I got to tell Teddy he's wrong or something. You know? Teddy's older than me. I think about it, I was raised up respecting my elders and things. But just say something. Teddy's not had nothing wrong. So don't think that, church. But I'm just using that as an example. But I got to go to him and I say, now Teddy, you just believe it's wrong. You're wrong. If I come at that very sharply with bad words, what's Teddy going to do? He's going to come back at me and say, hold on a minute, you're wrong, buddy. You know, he's going to jump right back in. But if we go at that with love, and we reach in the fire, and we touch it, and we say, hold on just a minute. Come out here just a second. Let's look at this. Let's see if we can get rid of this rock. Let's see if we can get rid of this piece of straw here that you have. And you say, well, Mama and Papa taught me that. Well, maybe they was taught wrong. All those things that go on, and all those situations in life that come up through there. And I don't believe that we have anything wrong in this church. These messages are focused for us to go out into the world and compel people to come in to hear and to tell them about Jesus and tell them about how the potter can take care of those things. You know, once they know a little bit about the Bible and they found Jesus Christ, let's tell them about the potter and how they can get on there and how he can shape their life and how he can take them away from addictions and how he can help them through this health crisis and how he can help them get through life just in any way. Maybe it's sitting in a nursing home and how Jesus Christ can help you get through that. How he can help you get through anything that you face in life. God can come and help us. And just, it's amazing when you think about him, how he touches our lives, how he takes us through. We can, any one of us, look back 3 years ago at just this church and think, this ain't going nowhere. We're at the end of it. You know? I can think back when I started and I didn't see this outcome. I don't see the outcome that it is going to. I know that God's got something in store for us. But the thing is we got to take the next step in faith. We got to put ourselves on the wheel, and we got to get ready for the fire. And maybe that's what he's telling us. He gives us 3 messages for 3 weeks long, and we hear all these things. He's telling us, church, get ready. If I want to give you a blessing, you got to get ready. If we're going to go fight the war, we've got to have a couple guns to go with us. You know? We can't go fight the war and they've got 50 million machine guns and we got nothing. It's like taking a knife to a gunfight, right? I don't mean to talk about guns or something, but we have to be ready for it. We're in a war. It's a spiritual war. And we got the best weapon behind us that we have. Yeah, we're fighting the devil every day. But right here, if we read and study and learn, this right here, this is the best weapon that we can have. You can be arguing and fighting with somebody that tries to disprove this all day, and I believe if you study it hard enough, you can disprove that person any way that you want to. You ask God to reveal it to you, He's going to reveal it. He's going to give us the answers of where we need to be, what we need to hear, what we need to learn, what we need to study. But church, if I give you a final thought on all these messages, you might think I'm crazy, but I think God's got us something in store. And He's waiting on us. He's telling us, take the next step. Get a little bit closer to me. Let me reshape you a little bit. Let me touch it a little bit. Let me get a hold of it a little bit. And there's probably going to be a fire somewhere. There's probably going to be somebody we're going to see in the middle and say, hold on, you're not ready for the kingdom yet. Let me help you shape it. Let me give you a little pull this. Now you're ready. You're there. And I think that leads up to the end of what He gave me. That would have took me 8 hours to preach over one period of time. But only God knows how to take care of it. He knows how we're going to retain it in our memory, how we're going to keep that. Like I said tonight, you can see I didn't even really use those verses tonight. It was just to get to the point of tried by the fire. Because we're going to focus, we're going to see that time where we're tried. We're tried on the fire. We're there. Make sure that one piece in there is wrong. Let's help them out. Pick them up. Preach for them. I think God can pour it on us. And I believe He's ready to pour it on us. Let's get ready for Him. You say, Pastor, well, if you want to get us a song tonight. Say, Pastor, how do I know I'm ready? That's not a question I can answer for you, I don't believe. I think you need to get ready with God. I think you need to talk to Him. Where's my place in this situation? What do I need to do? It may not be hanging drywall and 2x4s and lights and ceilings and things like that. That might not be what it is. I don't think He plans on expanding the church without putting more people in it. And we've seen too many blessings. We've seen too many times, too much money, too many things happen. And He just says, y'all need to get ready. And you look at that, it's kind of harsh words, and you say, well, I'm ready. Bring me 100 people. Are you ready for 100 people? Am I ready for 100 people? Probably not. But I need to be prepared for the 100 people. I need to be ready for it. You know, if we have an outlook of how long as we reach 30, I want to see too many. Opening doors up, windows. Really had to build them. Really had to build it out back or something in the field. You got to build a whole new thing or something to put all the people. I want that outlook on it. Whether that's what it comes to or not, but I want to be ready. The church tonight, the final question probably of these 3 sermons is, are you ready? I know you know Jesus Christ. I've done told you that. And are you ready for the next step in whatever God's bringing us, wherever He's taking us?
We do our part, He'll do His part.
Amen. That's it. Yeah. Page 234, we'll stand and sing. Well, church, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed what God gave us there the last few weeks. You know, there's been interruptions in it, things like that. I almost preached that message this morning until he said, "No, it's not ready." Maybe it was ready for the ones that's here tonight, or the ones that hear it. Maybe we're the step up team. Be ready for it. So, remember, got service Wednesday night at 7 at business meeting. Jody is having Bible school this week. I forgot to announce that this morning, but it starts at 6 o'clock every evening this week. So, Sarah's helping them out over there, so she'll be over there most of the week until we head to Bridgeport Friday. But I think they'll have somebody to help her over there. But if you know any kids or anything that's looking for a Bible school, I don't know how many's going on right now, but Jody's having it. And I'm sure if they didn't have a ride and they called, got old BJ or somebody, they'd get them a ride too. So, or probably Sheila, she's probably running the bus. So, and then remember August 13th, God Help Ministry, and still nursing home second Sunday of each month. If you didn't make it to that, it was a good time. It was. It was a really good time. So, all right, kids, you ready? Praise the Lord! Praise the Lord!